LSU exploited it big time. I will agree. LSU, that was a bad game. Today, Arkansas tried, and they did get 4 sacks, but they weren't able to cover Jameson Williams. Now that's going to become an issue in 2 weeks. Because Bryce Young's not going to have all day to throw, even when he escapes the pocket in 2 weeks. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But back to this game, give your thoughts and reactions. Alabama knocks off Arkansas. I wouldn't be shocked if Alabama drops in the rankings. Actually, let me pull that up real quick on my 50-inch that you guys can't see that I got for my birthday. Oregon goes down tonight. I think they will. Utah's a pretty good team. Ohio State's going to move up, and Alabama, I think, will drop. I think Ohio State, after what they did today, you have to put them in the top 2. However, what I do also think is, yeah, Alabama, you're probably a little disappointed with this performance, but there's not 15 teams in this country that can beat Arkansas. There's not. Who have they lost to this year? They lost to Ole Miss by 1 point on the road on a crazy 2-point conversion. They lost to Georgia. Okay. They lost to Bama. Okay. And they lost to Auburn, which is kind of their outlier bad game. That's their bad game of the year. And that's okay. Those happen. Pulling up some other stats. Sorry, I got a bunch of people texting me about other games, betting and whatnot. So it's just, they're a pretty good team, guys. Okay. I can't see that they do. I don't think this committee is going to move them up because that's just not in their nature. But one thing college football ranking people need to get out of their head sometimes is stop looking at wins and losses all the time and start judging on quality, especially when you're not dealing with playoff teams and you're dealing later down the road. Is Arkansas lower than 20th best team in the country? You can't convince me they're not. They're probably a top 15 team, but because they're 7-4 now, they're not going to be. So they might drop out of the rankings, but they're a top 15 team. The rankings are kind of a joke when it comes to that sometimes. I don't disagree. I think they should. Jordan Hare has been kind of a house of horrors. But I don't think, especially if TJ Finley's playing, because Bo Nix can do some things, and I've talked a lot of trash about Bo Nix, but he can make some plays weirdly. But yeah, TJ Finley. And it happens at every level, man. How many times every year do we see Aaron Rodgers causing offsides and then just chucking the ball 50 yards downfield? It's crazy. And I don't know the answer to that question because it happens at every level. It's just one of those things that's super confusing and just gets on your nerves. Yeah, who do you even text in and play tonight? I know they're on their goofy week. Everyone's playing goofy teams this week except. So let's see. Texas A&M 16. Yeah, they'll probably move up a little bit. They did cover, and as we all know, good teams win, great teams cover. They did cover. Man, it's just it's weird coming out of a game where the losing team's fans probably have a lot more to be excited about than the winning team's fans. Now, for the Alabama fans, what I will say is, yeah, this year's kind of been rough. You barely beat LSU. You barely beat Arkansas. You lost to Texas A&M. Florida, a Florida team that just lost to Missouri, gave you a scare. Now, that Florida team that played in Gainesville today would have beaten this Mizzou team by about 70, but regardless. But everybody's going to be back next year, and the team's only going to get scarier. Will Anderson's going to be back, and he has 20 sacks in his last 17 games. That's some Von Miller stuff. Some Aaron Donald stuff. He's in. Alabama fans, you might not win the title this year. We might not win a title this year, but it's going to be okay. When does Pete Golding get fired? The same day Dan Mullen does. Heck, they might get their pink slips from the same company on that day. Same mail service. I don't know where Pete Golding lives. Probably in Tuscaloosa in the offseason. That was a dumb remark. But yeah, him and Mullen are gone the same day. I have to assume. Arkansas will be more competitive next year. I don't know, because let's see what Arkansas' schedule looks like. Just Arkansas football schedule. Okay, you got Cincinnati. Cincinnati's probably going to take a step back. So you got them. You got South Carolina. Who's your crossover game? South Carolina, Alabama, at Mississippi State, at BYU. Ooh, that's a fun one, at BYU. You got Liberty, LSU. What do you mean by competitive? Like, they've been really competitive this year. They lost to Ole Miss by a point. Do I see them having a better record? I don't know the answer to that, because it depends on how Ole Miss replaces Matt Corral, what happens at Texas A&M with their QB situation. Does Bo Nix come back? What does LSU even look like next year? What's BYU look like? So no, I couldn't tell you that right now. We had Pruitt too, and Pruitt was pretty good. And part of that was, and part of this too, is college football is evolving. You're not going to beat the days of being able, except for this year's Georgia. This year's Georgia is not a rule; it's an outlier, or outlier. In today's college football, you are not going to face an elite team and give up less than 20 points or 25 points or 30 points even. It's not last year where everybody was scoring 45 points, whoever they played. If you're playing a truly elite team, not Iowa or Penn State or even like Michigan, if you're playing a team that's competing for a national title, it doesn't matter how good your defense is, they're going to put up 20 at the very least. 25, probably more than 30. So you got to be able to score. And that's just where college football is going. So those Alabama defenses back in the day that Kirby had, once we started getting to like 2014, 2015, when did he leave? Yeah, he left after 2015. They started getting lit up a little bit because offenses are just getting better. I don't know. That's a hard hypothetical for me, because Vegas puts it as home road, gives it a home road is a 3-point swing. So I would go no, but it should be a fun one next year.